Good morning, boys and girls. It's Miss Duncan here. I am so glad to see you vicariously. I wish we were in school, but that's not the choice. So we're going to continue what we started before Thanksgiving, and we're going to talk about compound sentences. A compound sentence is two independent clauses connected by a conjunction. Independent clauses have a subject and a predicate. For example, Miss Lynn came into the classroom. My subject is Miss Lynn. What did she do? The predicate came into the classroom. So we have that's an independent clause. It's a subject and a predicate. And last year in second grade, we just called it sentences. But now that you're older, we're going to be more mature and use college vocabulary. Now, to connect our two independent clauses, we got to have some building blocks, and those are called conjunctions. And remember how I said to think of fanboys, FANBOYS, and they'll help us remember the 8 conjunctions. For, which is a fancy because. Let me give an example of that. I'm going to put in beside it fancy because. And look, I spelled a word wrong. I'm going to fix it real fast. Let's see. I am going to eat at Jimmy John's today for I forgot my lunch. So it's kind of a fancy because. So if you want to sound really smart and really educated, throw that for in there. And it's when you're doing two things, you're joining them together. Avery is working on the computer and Miss Duncan is working on the computer. So I'm joining those together. Nor is like a negative. It's like a no. No, we cannot have dessert for breakfast, nor can we have it for dinner. So that's a no. But is saying, no. Please go home, but don't forget to clean your room. Or you have a choice. For example, I could say, Miss Duckett, you can wash the windows or you can mop the floor. She has a choice to do. She doesn't have to do both. Yet, it's kind of like a but. And so is another way to say and. So let's review our conjunctions. We think of fanboys, for, and, nor, but, or, yet, and so. Now let's look at some of these together. After the first independent clause, you add a comma. Everybody see how to make the comma? It's right there. It's huge. Then you add the conjunction. The second independent clause does not begin with a capital letter unless it's a proper noun. Let's look at some examples I wrote. And I try to think of students from both classes. Caden and Parker like basketball, so they watch lots of college games. Well, let me check. Caden and Parker like basketball. Do I have a subject? Yes, Caden and Parker. What do they do? That's my predicate, like basketball. So that's one independent clause. Let's see if I have another one that can stand alone. So they watch lots of college games. That's the subject. What do? Watch lots of college games. Yes, I do have another independent clause. So I join them with a comma and I add the conjunction. Notice sometimes students do this if you always put the comma after the word in front of it. So like if you always put the comma there. I used to say sometimes in front of the conjunction, but then they would put the comma down there, and that's not where it goes. It goes after the first independent clause. Here's another one. Ethan likes mashed potatoes, but Emery prefers macaroni and cheese. Well, let me see if this is correct. Ethan likes mashed potatoes. Do I have a subject? Yes. Likes mashed potatoes. That's my predicate. Let's look at do I have another independent clause? Emery prefers macaroni and cheese. Well, who's it about? Emery. What does she do? She prefers macaroni and cheese. So I have two independent clauses, so I'm going to join them together. So we're going to put a comma after the first independent clause, and then we're going to use our conjunction. Miss Duckett and Miss Duncan are planning fun activities for NTI. For, they miss their students. Well, let me think. Miss Duckett and Miss Duncan are planning fun activities. Who's it about? Miss Duckett and Miss Duncan. What are they doing? Are planning fun activities for NTI. For, and I told you that was that fancy because. For, they miss their students. Well, let's check. They miss their students. Who's it about? They. And what is the action? Miss their students. So yes, this is compound students. Now, sometimes students get really excited about seeing conjunctions and they add commas where they don't need to. So these are not compound sentences. Let's look at the first one. Trinity and Luna ride with their parents to school. Well, let's look. Is Trinity, is that a independent clause? We have a subject, but we don't have a predicate. So that's not an independent clause, so we do not use a comma there. Here's another one. Sally is tired, but not sleepy. Let's see, do I have a independent clause? Sally is tired. That is an independent clause. So let me check on the other side of my conjunction. Not sleepy. Oh, but I don't know who. It doesn't give me the subject. So this one is not a compound sentence, so I don't use a conjunction. Now, if I said Sally is tired, but she is not sleepy, then we would. So be very careful with that. To be a compound sentence, there must be an independent clause on each side of the conjunction. Now, I want you to write 4 compound sentences of your own. And you can type them right here on your paper. And after that, you can submit it. And you'll submit it to Miss Duckett or I, and we're going to read over it, and we can't wait. Also, think about what your favorite foods are because we're going to write a CER later in the week. Have a great day. I miss you. And if you need anything, don't hesitate to text me, call me, or even email me. Have a great day.